Megan, can you tell me a little bit about your family?
Yeah, my my mom and dad passed away. It's been about 7 years now. Um, my husband, of course, passed away. It's been 6 months, and he just died of cancer. I have a daughter in Montana, and she has an 18-year-old son who's my grandson. I FaceTime with him a lot because I'm hip grandma, and I know how to do that. Um, I do have a daughter who lives here in town. She's about 10 minutes away, and my granddaughter who lives with her is 10. And then um, I have a brother and sister who live out of state. And we're close, but we only see each other like once a year.
Okay. So it sounds like you do have some support in the area here that's local.
Yeah, I love being close to my daughter, and I like to go to my granddaughter's softball games and her ballet recitals and things like that. I just really haven't since my husband passed away, but I mean I do have them in town.
Okay. How often do you see each other? Do you and your daughter see each other? Um,
Um, we see each other at least once a week. Um, Sometimes more, sometimes less. Um, but usually at least once a week. I try to at least make one recital or game or swim lesson or something. I don't want to be a bummer or a burden because it just seems like when I see them I'm very tearful, and so I just sometimes it feels like it's just easier to stay home and not put that on them.
and can you tell me a little bit more about that when you say you don't want to be a burden on them?
Well, I guess I feel like I bring them down. I mean, my daughter lost her dad, and but she seems to handle it a lot better than I do. And my granddaughter lost her grandfather, and um, but when I'm there, I'm the one that's tearful and brings everybody down, and I can't stop thinking about what he's missing in their lives, and so it just really feels like I bring everybody down, and that's me being a burden on them.
That must be really difficult to experience that when you want to be out enjoying your family and spending some quality time together, and you feel like you're, um, you know, a bit of a burden to them. Um, do you do you feel like you're reminding them of their own loss, or is it more that you just don't want to really be bothering them with your sadness?
I think it's both. Um, Again, yeah, I don't want to burden them with my sadness or be the one that brings everything down, but yeah, it does feel like too. I remind them that it used to always be grandma and grandpa or mom and dad, and now it's just grandma, and that's sort of like there's this big hole in our family because we've always been so close, and now yeah, it's
Okay. Um, do you have any pets at home?
yeah. I have my husband's dog, a little schnauzer. He's a naughty little thing, but he's really growing on me. He's really always been more of my husband's dog. Um, and I have a cat who follows me around. She's like Velcro on my leg, and she lets me know what's up and when to be fed and when I should pet her, when I should not. So
She wants to give you lots of stuff to do.
yeah, they're entertaining. Yeah.
Okay. Um, well, it's good that you have your pets that need you to depend on that they're depending on you to
Yeah.
take care of them. Um, so, are you involved in any organized activities like church or community? Um,
Yeah, I do go to church, or I was involved in church. My husband and I were really involved in a couples group, and we went to a lot of activities and barbecues and things like that, but I don't really fit there anymore, so they're married couples, and I don't have my other half anymore, and I feel out of place, and like they sort of pity me and let me tag along as the third wheel, but so I just haven't been attending.
That sounds like a very difficult experience to, I mean, you must have had a very, very, must have been very hard for you to switch from being with your husband, being a couple and going out and doing things, and then just being there by yourself with those social supports. So
Yeah, it's been a big change.
yeah. Is faith important to you at all in your life?
Yeah, I've always gone to church. I grew up attending church. We were married in the church. I've thought about joining, the widows small group instead of the couple small group, but I've gone back and forth. That just seems very final.
Right.
That makes sense.
But it's something you're still kind of contemplating, is the possibility of
Yeah,
joining the widows group.
I've been thinking about it because it's just been hard not to be at church, but it's also hard to go to church. So I'm trying to decide which is the better or the lesser evil of the two, and I just haven't figured that out for myself yet.
Okay. Do you have, as far as other social supports outside of your family, like friends? I know you mentioned some from church. Any other friends in the neighborhood or community? Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, and most are married couples or were coworkers of my husband, and so it just doesn't feel like it makes sense to be around these people.
Okay. Were some of those people, did you have a close relationship with some of those people? Were you and your husband, before he died, spent a lot of time together, or you spent time with them outside of, not necessarily, I mean, friends of your own that weren't just ones that you and your husband shared?
Not really, no.
Is there anyone else that you spend time with on a regular basis?
Not
that I may have missed?
Not since my husband passed away.
Okay. Well, what are some things that you really enjoyed doing before your husband passed away? Maybe tell me a little bit about what your routine was like, and activities that you really loved to participate in.
Well, we had both just retired, and something that we really liked to do together was go running. And I had worked out with a trainer like once a week, and I used to run 5Ks and 10Ks
Wow.
and like a sprint triathlon and a half marathon, and we really enjoyed doing that. And again, that was something that we did together, and so I haven't been running since he passed, because it just it's too hard to go without him. Like, it was such a routine to do it with him, and we had the dog, and we had certain paths that we went on, and things that we trained for, and so I just haven't been able to go since.
Wow, that takes a lot of dedication and hard work. I'm pretty impressed that you were out there running half marathons.
Thanks.
Pretty incredible.
We thought, at our age, we better keep really healthy,
Yeah.
and so
Wow.
yeah, there's not a lot of people running that are our age, so we tend to win a lot of races in our age group, just sort of because we were the only ones there.
Right. Well, you guys
Yay.
have worked hard for them and a lot of motivation to get
Yeah.
up and
Yeah, thanks.
do that. Can you tell me what led you to come and see someone like me today? I mean, what was the last straw?
Well, yesterday was our 35th wedding anniversary, and we had a trip to Hawaii planned for our anniversary. So I should be in Hawaii right now with my husband, and I'm not. And it's not getting easier, it's not getting better. I feel alone. Like I said, I'm a burden to my kids. I'm tearful with them. I'm a downer. We had all these plans. We had just retired. We had all these things we were going to do together, and it just it feels like it would be easier if I just joined him.
When I mean, that sounds like you've really gone through some very difficult and heartbreaking um, experiences that are really impacting your life right now. When you mentioned that you feel like it would be easier if you joined in, can you tell me more about that?
Well, I just feel like such a burden and such a downer and so lonely, and that all the plans that we had are ruined. Like nothing is as it was going to be, so it just maybe I just shouldn't be here either. Like nothing worked out, so why am I here? There's really nothing left for me.
When you say you shouldn't be here, or it would be better if you joined in, are you thinking of hurting yourself at all?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I've thought about it, but I don't know.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'd like to just take a couple of minutes and kind of talk about safety. It's kind of a really difficult topic for people to, feel comfortable sharing. But if that would be okay with you, so that we can just kind of go, because I want to make sure that you're going to be safe. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have right now? Do you have any plan to hurt yourself?
No. They're just thoughts. I feel like more often I have thoughts like that. So I mean that was a big reason I thought I should come in. I just seem to think about it more, but I don't have like a way or
Okay. And when did these thoughts first start?
Soon after my husband died, I first sort of started thinking about it, and it feels like it's just something I think about a lot more.
Okay. And what keeps you going every day? What are some things that really keep you going?
Well, the dang dog, for one thing. I have to take care of the dog and the cat. My kids, my grandkids, they're already going to miss out having a grandpa. I don't want them to miss out having a grandma too. I just wish I wasn't such a bummer of a grandma. But that's what keeps me going.
Those are some pretty good protective factors there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of love that you have in your life. Have you ever previously attempted to hurt yourself before, or in your life in the past?
No, I mean, when I was younger, before I met my husband, I was engaged, and my fiance at the time called off the wedding right before, and it was super embarrassing and traumatic as a 19-year-old, and I thought a lot about it then, but I didn't actually try or attempt to hurt myself or anything like that.
What are some things that kept you from trying to hurt yourself at that time?
well, the running and the exercising, I just kept really busy. I enrolled myself in school, and that's where I met my current husband. So I just kept really busy, and
Something
something
positive.
better came
Yeah,
along.
something better. All right.
I was glad it didn't work out with him.
It was meant to be.
That's right.
Um, well, after having such an awful experience, and being at such a low point in your life, you were able to find the strength in yourself and spring back to even better than before. So,
Yeah,
and like you
that's
said,
true.
something really good positive came out of it because
Yeah.
you met your husband and you have this
Yeah.
this life and this amazing life. At least as you've described it to me, it's been a pretty good life, right?
Yeah.
I would like to go back to those feelings about you having talked about wanting to end your life, just meant,
Yeah.
talking about ending your life. And I just want to emphasize, Megan, that I really um, commend you. It's very courageous for you to even sit and talk with me about that. It's also an incredible honor, but that's really difficult for people to open up on that topic. So thank you for being willing to share and for your honesty and this conversation.
Sure.
So I want to take a few minutes to, I want to talk about safety and the decision to end your life can sometimes be a very impulsive decision for people, and I want to talk about making a plan for safety, just to make sure to have a safety plan in place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's like totally necessary, but
It couldn't hurt, right?
okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you're probably right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and again, it can be, the reason that the clinicians want to do a safety plan with people is because it can be a really quick decision, and we want to make sure that our clients have a plan in place, and that we're checking in with them and.
Okay. I didn't know it could be so impulsive, so that makes sense.
Okay. So, can you tell me if you have any guns in the house? If there are any guns in the home?
Yeah, my husband had a gun, and it's in our closet. I don't really know. I don't know what to do with the gun. I never used it. My daughter's husband has been. The plan was for him to take it. They had like him and my husband used to go shooting together, and so it's got kind of like a sentimental value to him, and so he's supposed to take it. But it's still at my house at this point. I haven't really done anything yet.
Okay. So, is there a time when he might be able to come? Like, can we make a plan that he could come and take that gun, like today? Will you be seeing him?
Yeah, we have a family dinner at my house tonight, so
Okay.
I could just ask him if he could just take that with him when he leaves.
Okay. Okay. And can I check in with you tomorrow just to make sure, give you a call, check in with you just to make sure that everything's okay and that you were able to have your son-in-law take that gun home with him?
Oh, yeah, that would be nice.
Okay. And then I need to ask you about medications. Are you taking any medications?
No, all that running, I've been pretty healthy. I just take, your women's daily vitamin. But other than that, I don't, there's not much that I take.
Yeah, it sounds like you take really good care of yourself.
Try to. I mean, I guess I have it by not running the last 6 months, but
Yeah. Um, medications, from your husband, being on hospice, do you have any, medications left over from that?
no, they took all of that because it was a lot of like heavy morphine, and they took all of that because they said it would be people could break in the house and steal it or something. So they took all of that when it passed.
Okay. And what about any over-the-counter medications?
Oh, I occasionally take Tylenol. I am getting a little older, so sometimes I get sore. I take some allergy medication because this cotton that's flying around the air drives me crazy. But I mean, I don't have really anything in the house. I've never really been big on medications or anything like that.
Okay. Well, who would you be able to call if you have had a particularly bad day, you've had a really bad day and you need that extra support, um, and you're having any thoughts that you don't want to be here, or any really strong feelings?
Um, I would probably call my daughter in Montana and talk to her. Um, she's not as close as my other daughter, but I think as far as like our relationship of talking about stuff like that, it's a little easier to talk to her, and she's not as distracted as my other daughter. So I'd probably call her.
Okay. Well, again, I really appreciate your honesty and your willingness to talk about these things, and you being willing to share your story with me. Um, I just want to kind of recap everything just to make sure that um, I've got everything that you're. I want to that I haven't missed anything that you said.
Okay.
So it sounds like because you were here, you were here today because of some of the difficulty that you've experienced with grief and loss of your husband, and you're kind of struggling with your identity as having been a part of a married couple, and now you're single. That's a totally new role, and figuring out how to make those social connections, sort of reignite those social connections after having filled that with your husband for so long. And then you've expressed some feelings of feeling a bit like a burden and feeling lonely, and wanting to reach out for more help. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think you've got all of the major ones. Yeah.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst day of your life, 10 being the best day of your life, where would you put yourself today?
Well, I'm thinking like maybe a 3. The worst, I would say like the worst day was the day my husband passed away, or the fiasco with my ex-fiance. So yeah, probably, I think today's probably like 3.
Okay.
Should have been in Hawaii.
That's pretty impressive. We should all be in Hawaii. So, yeah. So that's pretty impressive, given everything that you've been, the extent to what you've been through, and then you know are being reminded now of what this big, huge trip that you and your husband are going to take together that you're not able to do. If today was a 3, what would it take for you to? What would you need to get to a 4?
I guess just being less tearful, that I could make it through anything without crying.
Okay. Have you had any days like that in the last few months where it felt less tearful?
Not really. I feel like that happens all the time. I mean, with my kids, it makes me sad because it reminds me of my husband, even though I love them and I love spending time with them, but I just um, the kids all seem to handle it really well, and I just sort of bring them down.
Yeah. Okay. And is that something your daughters have said to you?
Well, no, I mean not directly, but they're just not as teary, and they seem to have more to keep them busy, and they just seem to do better, and I bring it down.
Well, I want to prioritize, just take a minute to kind of prioritize some things that to work on, that you've expressed you want to work on. One is that you want to be able to get out more, and maybe well, what do you feel?
You're at 26
Yeah,
months, and
you're
I
just